Welcome to The Power and the Pain, where your past isn't your prison.
It's the fuel for your purpose.
I'm Greg Pihs, combat veteran, NLP trainer, and your guide to turn trauma into triumph. This is The Power and the Pain. Let's go.
Hey, my name is Bryan Nale, and I'm a mortgage loan officer with Pihs Bank. I just want to say how much I truly enjoy being a part of Spread the Positive Network. It's an incredible mission that brings so much positivity to our community. It's been a real pleasure to be involved. Now, when it comes to financing a home, there are a lot of options. And in a market like today's, having the guidance of a trusted local professional can make all the difference. Whether you're looking to purchase a new home, second home, an investment property, or explore refinancing options, I'd love the opportunity to earn your trust and help guide you through the process. If I can help you nail your mortgage, give me a call at 615-243-3976 or visit nailyourmortgage.com.
Welcome back to The Power and the Pain, and today we're going to talk about two different subjects here. We're going to start on resiliency. And let's talk a little bit about resiliency, because if we had more resiliency, it would benefit all of us. And I say that from a place of, I am an extremely resilient person, and if I had more resiliency, it would benefit me. Now, I think most of us consider or look at resiliency. When we think about like resiliency and what is resiliency, I think most of us consider the idea of, and I was included in this, and I've expanded my thinking a little bit, so I'm going to share that with us today. When we think about resiliency, we think about the ability, like we get knocked down, but I get back up again. All right, I did that totally off rhythm there. But we think about the idea, like I get knocked down and I get back up. And like that, if someone gets knocked down and they get back up, that they are resilient. And I think that's fair. I want to create some awareness as I was doing my self-reflection and processing of knowledge. That description, or we'll call it a definition, that description or definition of resiliency suggests that one has to be knocked down in order to be resilient. I think resiliency starts before that. So inside of that description, I would agree that that person is resilient if they got knocked down and got back up again. I would agree that they're resilient. And then I would suggest that that person was capable and may had displayed resiliency before they even got knocked down. So to be resilient, we could consider, or we could think, and I've thought in the past, to be resilient, we have to get knocked down. Think about that. Like we probably haven't consciously thought about it that way. But if we agreed before today that resiliency was the ability to get knocked down and get back up again, then if one was to say, I want to be more resilient, there would be a complex equivalence, an unconscious complex equivalence that is also saying to neurology, I want to get knocked down more so that I can get up more. If we shift and we start considering resiliency before being knocked down, and so then we might ask, how do you see it, Greg? Where does resiliency start before being knocked down? Well, I'm going to suggest that resiliency is our ability to stay in the fight long after it would be prudently considered or logical to quit. So a prudent person looking from the outside would logically suggest you're outnumbered, outgunned, outmanned. It's throw in the towel. And the person that was in the fight the internal decision to stay in the fight before getting knocked down, it's not even required. The internal decision to stay in the fight after it is no longer logical to stay in the fight, I'm going to suggest that that's resiliency. Now, if you were to create more resiliency, then you would have to be in situations in which it was no longer logical to stay committed, and you would have to choose to stay committed. Now, if we're being candid with each other, that's a pretty scary thought. Because if you're anything like me, you've been in situations in your past in which you've stayed committed long past when you should have bailed. For me, I mean, my childhood comes to mind. Like, there was many a years that I held judgment against self. Forgiving myself was the hardest journey of forgiveness so far. There was many years in which I judged myself for why did I not take more action during my childhood, whether it was running away sooner, whether it was screaming on top of my lungs what was happening, and or the thought of like, why didn't I attack her? My stepmother, that is. And we've all had a situation in which we stayed longer, much past it when it was logical to stay. And there's a chance that we all have a situation that we stayed past when it was logical to stay. And in hindsight, looking back, we would agree that that was not a good decision. So now we have a paradox. If I want to be more resilient, Greg is suggesting that I should be in situations much past when it was logical to quit. And I know that I have past experiences in which I was in situations past when it was logical to quit, and I know that those were not good decisions or those did not serve me well at the time. So this can create a paradox, and it can create some fear. And by the way, you're okay to have that fear or that confusion or frustration or any emotions or thoughts that you feel right now when I'm sharing this information. That's okay. And if you allow yourself to sit with it, you can go through the self-discovery to see, how do I have this fear, anxiety, hurt, guilt, away from energy? How am I experiencing this right now? Like, there could be a reality in which I was not experiencing this. So allow yourself to have that self-discovery moment. And then the next question would be, so how do I decipher between the two? And the two being, when do I know to stay in the fight long past when it's logical because it benefits me? And when should I simply bail? It's a fair question. And I'm going to give you an answer that you're not going to be so excited to hear, and then I'll elaborate a little bit. The only answer that I can congruently share with you on how to know which one is which is that you must trust yourself. Okay, remember I said you weren't going to be so excited about the answer. You must trust yourself. There's no way I'm going to suggest, there's no way, or even if there is a way, I will not quantify every known situation and grade them on right or wrong or which one you should stay or not stay in. So if that's true, then I'm only going to be able to speak in abstract statements, in generalities, and I don't think that's a word, but we're using it. And I'm going to have to speak in these broad stroke or abstract statements to cover everything, and you will have to trust yourself in the literal situations. Here's what I'm going to share with you to help you trust yourself. Is this situation, does it make sense for me to continue forward in this situation? Or is this one that like, hey, time to pull the plug, let's cut bait, let's get out of here? What I want to share with you is, I mentioned earlier being in situations much past when it was logical and that it wasn't beneficial. And the example that I gave to you, or I shared here with you, was my childhood. And I think most people would agree with me. That was a situation that I endured much past when it was logical or prudent for a child to endure. And when I shared that as an example, we saw my childhood as something that I should not have actually endured. Well, can I offer you that I wouldn't have the resiliency I have today, and nor would you be listening to me today if I did not endure my childhood? So what I'm saying is, what I'm offering you is, every single situation and experience that you go through and you choose consciously to stay in the fight much past when it is prudent and logical for you to quit. Every experience, even if you believe that experience is not benefiting you, every time you stay past when it is logical, you are increasing your skill of resilience every single time. So which ones do you stay in? Trust yourself. And every single time you stay in a situation or experience longer, much longer than when it is prudent or logical for you to quit, you are increasing your resiliency. Okay. One of the easiest ways for us to build resiliency let me go back a step. Easiest. Let me change that label. I got the thinking as I started speaking, and I was like, ooh, I'm not sure that I feel congruent with the label easiest. I'm not sure if it's the easiest, but one way that we can at any time in our life increase our resiliency at any point in time in our life, one way we can increase resiliency is by governing self to do things that we don't want to do. So easiest. What I'll share with you is when you go on this journey, and those of you that are on this journey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Share it with your friends. Let them know. When you go on this journey, like, resiliency only sucks until you're on the other side. Because on the other side, discipline equals freedom. Like, it is the easiest and the most freeing thing that you will do. Like, and I've been in different chapters in my life, and I'll have different chapters in my future. There are times when I am extremely highly disciplined with my meals, with my gym time, with my personal, professional, emotional, spiritual development. I mean, there are times when I'm like on point, effing try me, like I got everything mega buttoned up. And there are chapters when I'm much less like, I go to gym tomorrow. I'm fine. I missed 2 days, So I have different chapters and the ebbs and flows of life. And when I'm in chapters, extended chapters in which I am being lazier in my life, lazier than what? Lazier than the flow chapter. When I'm in these ebb chapters of life, when I'm being consciously or unconsciously lazier than the flow chapter, every time I go through these ebbs and flows in life, every time, it's like pulling teeth to get myself back into eating all the meals and going to the gym and carving out time for prayer and meditation and emotional intelligence and intellectual learning. And it's like, I don't have enough time. I can't, I'm never, and like this feeling, right? I'm sharing this with you being raw right now because I know a lot of people have these feelings and they think there's something wrong with them or something unique and they want a special label or diagnosis, but like, welcome to the party if you're human, right? I have this feeling, and I know you do too. I get this feeling that like, oh my God, I'm never going to get to enjoy life again. All these things that I have to do and they have to be done every day and there's not even enough time for them. I'm being raw, I'm being candid, I'm being vulnerable. Like the thought creeps in, I'm never going to get to enjoy life. Like if I do this every day, it's just stressful. And in that manner, it's not prudently logical to live that way. Why are we going to live a way in which we're super busy, super stressed out, and aware that we're never able to enjoy life? Okay. So in those moments, it always, like before we do resiliency, it always feels like this massive boulder that there's like no way we can lift this thing. It always feels that way. How do I know? From the ebbs in my life. And every single time I take action. And by the way, something that I do that may help you. Let's say in those chapters when I'm in those ebbs, when things are a little bit more lazy, if you will, every single time, and I think, oh my gosh, I've been neglecting food, nutrition and workout and mindset and spirituality and emotions and family. Oh my gosh, I have to do all these things. Well, something that I do that helps me, that may help you, is I start with one thing at a time and then add one more and then add one more and then add one more and then add one more. By the time I get to the end, what I find out is I figured out systems for all of these things in which I have so much more time than I ever imagined. And I didn't drown myself in one day trying to like heal everything, if you will. So one thing at a time, I keep adding it in. What I've experienced every single time that I go into a flow chapter in my life, every single time, and if you've done this, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Every time I go into a flow chapter in my life, I'm excited to do even more. When every time, hands down, no questions asked, every time I've been under the biggest load, not like it was dumped on me, but like I chose to like, I'm adding this, I'm adding this, I'm adding this, I'm adding this. Every time I've done that, I've always, every time, thought to myself, wow, I can do even more. Discipline equals freedom, resiliency. When we are resilient, we will be courageous. We will do the hard things. We will know that they are hard things right before we commit to doing them. We'll know because we'll say, oh man, that sucks, or that's going to be hard. And then resilient people, the moment they say, and by the way, this is something resilient people, right? Resilient people, as soon as they commit, because they are resilient and they know they are resilient. So I might say, oh man, this is going to be hard, right? I gotta go run 5 miles, 10 miles, whatever the case. Oh man, this is going to be hard. And I think about, man, by mouth, 1.5, I'm going to feel like I'm dead. Then I'll catch my second wind. But man, around mile marker 7, I'm going to feel dead again. And I'm still going to have 3 friggin' miles left. And I'm just going to have for 3 miles. After I did 7, I'm just going to have to stay in the fight the whole time. Resilient people, the second they like, okay, we look at it and by the way, it's only hard because we assign that value. Okay, so what? So resilient people, we look at this thing and we're like, oh, that's going to be hard. And then resilient people simply decide, am I doing this? Am I doing this? Am I committed? And if the answer is no, nothing matters. Resilient people just wipe it off their plate and move on to the next thing. If the answer is yes, so let's like, oh, I got to run 10 miles. Oh, it's going to be really hard. Am I doing this? Yes. Good. Done. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter now. It doesn't matter what happens. I've made an internal decision that this is getting done, so it gets done. And the more shit that I go through during this 10 miles, every additional challenge that I go through will serve me. And I literally feel this. I don't think this, I feel this, okay, in my soul. Every challenge that I face along the way, I already know that I'm overcoming it. There's no way around it. It's not even an option. And every single challenge, I'm almost excited to face as many challenges as possible, because every challenge I face will serve to impact all the people that I'm reaching. Everything that I experience is another example for me to learn through and share with other people. This is very literal for me. So for you, that may sound or feel a little bit different, but resilient people, once they make a decision, get committed, they don't have to go all in. Resilient people are all in because they live in a way in which they are all in or all out. Resilient people don't dabble. That's one key aspect on resilient people. You can't be resilient dabbling. You can't be trying things and be resilient. You will never be resilient when you try things. You will never be resilient when you try things. If you try to take on a competitor, the moment, listen, at an unconscious neurological level, the moment that you exceeded your pain tolerance, be that physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, the moment you exceed your current pain tolerance, if you said, I am trying this out, your unconscious nervous system will send out the signals for your little legs to move out of the ring and quit. Because you were only trying it out. You tried it. You did it. You tried it. It's not for you. It's not going to work. Get the hell out. Save yourself. You succeeded. Your nervous system's like, okay, you did what you said. That's done. There's no more reason for us to be here. And if we stay here, we're in danger. We got to go. You've already succeeded at what you said. You tried it. Good job. You tried it, man. So many other people were afraid to even get in this ring and try it. You tried it. Now we got to go. By the way, speaking from experiences of working with and connecting with other people, most people think, listen, because I know this is a lot of people listening in. I love you when I say this. I'm sharing this raw, candid, vulnerably from my experience and from connecting with other people. And if this strikes a chord for you, I love you. You're in great company. If this strikes a chord for you, here's an opportunity for transformation. Most people believe they are resilient because they're willing to try things. Most people look at a competitor in the ring. This is metaphorical. The competitor in the ring is the thing in the area of your life. Most people look at a competitor in the ring, understand that that person is more qualified and more capable than I am. Most people look around and see everyone else say, oh, I don't belong in that ring. And then we'll say, I'll try it out. And everyone's like, whoa, you sure? Wow, that's crazy. You know, they go, ah. And we get our hit of dopamine. Yeah, I'll try it out. I'll go in there. And we might even get a little cocky. I'm going to take him out. Right? And then we go in the ring. And because we are trying it out, once we get, Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Right? We go in the ring metaphorically. And we get that punch in the face, and our plan is like, we go from like, I might get lucky, or I might be able to leg sweep him, I might be able to getting friggin' clocked, right? And then our plan goes out the window, and we're like, holy shit, I've never felt pain like this before. We got to get out of here now. And so we get out of the ring, right? But a week later, the same situation happens again, and we say, I'll go back in there and try it again. And we think that's resiliency. I'm literally suggesting that it's robbing you of resiliency. I'm literally suggesting this is wrong. And we think it's resiliency, and other people will confirm this because the other people weren't willing to get in the ring. Plus, you already went in the ring and got knocked down, and you're willing to get back up again. Resiliency, the best example of resiliency that I've heard, I'm going to quote Will Smith on this one. Man, this had to be, I don't know how young he was when he said this, because this is many years back, but I was watching like an interview or something like that. I don't think it was it could have been a podcast. Nonetheless, he's being interviewed. And someone was asking him, I'm not sure they used the word resiliency, but they're asking something of the nature. And he said, the difference between me and you is, he said, if me and you get on a treadmill to see who's going to last the longest, you will get off before me or I'll die on the treadmill. That's commitment. That, my friends, is resiliency. We think, well, if I die on there, I won't be able to keep going. No, sure. But so we unconsciously track in our mind, I'll quit before I die, which is a true statement. You have quit, but what you're, I'm going to suggest, like, death is like way over here, and you just like cross the pain threshold. I mean, you just crossed the pain threshold. You're like, I'm going to quit before I die. Okay, good. But you had a whole bunch of room left before you got there. Most of us do. And listen, I say this from a place of, I've been in many physically life-threatening situations, whether it be food deprivation, sleep deprivation, torture, physical torture. Like in many occasions in my life, I have crossed the pain threshold in which I literally assumed like I won't be able to go much further, in which it went much further. And then I came out the other side, in which I started realizing, oh, our pain, like our body, which think about this, like think about it like a car. If when your gas light came on, if your gas light came, it feels like bing, and your car was like, pa, 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 pa. Well, that wouldn't be much of a warning, would it be? All right. So like most of us, when our gas light comes on, we have 50 miles left. And yeah, it's not a full tank of gas or anywhere close to it. In fact, it's a gas tank on E. However, if you don't think 50 miles is that far, just run it. 50 miles. Like, we freak out when the gas light comes on. By the way, I don't recommend for you to ride around with your gas light on. And some people, hey, can't get past half. Like, the gas light never gets to come on, right? I don't think you should ride around with your gas light on, right? But what I can tell you is, I know sometimes I get home late, and after I pass the last gas station, I hear ding, the gas light comes on, and I just passed the last gas station, and it's late at night, and I got to get up early in the morning. And then I punch in my address on my GPS, even though I know where I'm going, and it says, you got 13 miles to get home. So I'm like, 13 plus 13 is 26, but I passed the gas station 5 miles ago. So 26 plus 5, 31. So 31 miles. I got 50 till I'll fill it up tomorrow morning. I'm keep heading home. I got plenty of miles to make it. I do this, right? I'm not telling you should do it. I do it. Okay? Because I understand that when we feel pain, be it physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, when we feel pain, that's the gas light coming on. But if you don't think 50 miles is far, go run it or walk it or hike it. 50 miles that's quite a runway from like time of like, hey, here's your warning. to like, you're done. Like there's no more. It's all over. You went too far. 50 miles, it's not far in your car, but do it with old Tom and Jerry. Go hoof it. And all of a sudden you're like, man, that's okay. Shit, that's quite a warning. 50 damn miles. That's quite a warning. The same is true in our bodies. When we cross our pain threshold, again, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, intellectually, when we cross our pain threshold, like it would be messed up if, much like a car, if when the gas light came, it was like, bing, pa, 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 pa. It just shut down. Everything just shut down. You're like, dude, that is not a warning. Our pain threshold in our body, our ability to experience pain, is our gaslight. It's a warning. There is quite a stretch before this is like so much of a stretch. I know some of you are judging me, and you're allowed to. I would, if I was in your seat, I would judge me. So please judge me, right? I'm just telling you, like, I'm not saying I'll do it again tomorrow, today. Right? If I'm driving home late, like I understand that from the point of crossing the threshold of the car gas light coming on to the point of I have no gas, I understand that that's so far that I'll literally make a decision to leave the gas light on and drive all the way home, knowing that I got to drive all the way back to tomorrow. And I'm gambling. What if the gauge is wrong? What if I get a little too heavy with my foot and we don't make it 50 miles because I sucked down too much gas? Right? So, and it's true. So, I am very mindful of how I drive when the gas light comes on. We can't be willy-nilly in this thing. By the way, once you cross the pain threshold in whatever experience you're having, I would be very mindful with how I move forward from there. We are redlining. We are in the danger zone. Most people think because there's a danger zone, get away. Yeah, we're in the danger zone, so let's keep all our ears, eyes, all our senses peeled. Let's stay very aware and understand that we cannot stay here. We are here consciously because we chose to, and we're only going to be here for a certain amount of time, and this is going to be done. We're going to fill this tank back up, and we are going to be so far away from this. So yeah, let me be very mindful in that time when I have crossed, as soon as I cross my pain threshold, whether it's I didn't get enough sleep, whether it's physically, because I've had this conversation before. When you go to the gym, most people think we're building muscle. You're very literally tearing muscle fibers at the gym. You're very, very, very literally destructing, or not destroying, but you're creating destruction in your body. Another conversation that I've had before, and for another day, creation is destruction. I've always said that. Creation will not exist without destruction. Everything is energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transformed. So in order for you to build muscle, you have to destroy muscle. Okay. When we go to the gym, we are breaking down that muscle. And then we're allowing ourselves to rebuild. In that manner, we get to, and we can choose to allow ourselves, like when we're in the gym and we cross that pain threshold, because we are actually destructing, we are creating destruction in our muscles, on our muscles, to our muscles, in our muscles, because we are creating destruction. As soon as I pass the pain threshold while I'm in the gym, it's time to be mindful. It's not time to stop. By the way, when I cross the pain threshold, notice at no point in time was it required for me to be knocked down and get back up again. At no point in time was it required for me to get knocked down and get back up again. So again, I do believe if someone gets knocked down and they get back up again, I do believe they are resilient. And I believe we are capable of resiliency way before getting knocked down. And without the need for being knocked down, we can create and increase our resiliency. Again, how do we increase our resiliency? At first I said the easiest. Maybe it is the easiest. I don't know. But day one, like it feels like the hardest thing to do is govern yourself to do things that you don't want to do. Govern yourself to do things that you don't want to do. Get up at whatever time's appropriate for you. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m., whatever's appropriate for you. But like if you're like I know so many people, like, which by the way, I'm an early bird. I get up early. I enjoy getting up early, so it's not a discipline thing for me. The flip side of that coin is when the sun goes down, like I start falling asleep even if I'm at the party. So it's hard for me to stay up late. Like, but on the flip side, like some people just stay up all night, and they don't, like, if I got to stay up all night, we better get some energy drinks and have some loud music and the windows down. You know, if I got to stay up all night, I'll do it, right? But I gotta discipline myself to stay up all night. But getting up in the morning now, I don't wake up without an alarm or something. And I promise you, every morning that some mornings I beat my alarm. I love when I wake up and it's like the alarm's set for like 4 a.m. and I wake up and I look at it, it's like 3:57. I'm like, gotcha. Go in there, turn that alarm off. But sometimes, okay? And equally so, sometimes that alarm goes off in the morning and I hear it and I'm like, what the fuck is that sound? And immediately, by the way, just so you know, we're human. You're not crazy. It's not ADHD. Then when I, like on those days, I immediately try to negotiate with myself in my mind why I have more time to sleep and I actually didn't have to get up this early. I'm sure none of you have ever had these thoughts before. It is very human nature. This is how it goes. Your individual thoughts are unique. You had specific words, but that's what happens. When you hit the snooze button, that's what happens. You thought to yourself, you're like, you know what? I don't actually need to get up that early. I have more time. I can get up. If I get up at this time, I'll be able to get it all done. Look, you can get up whenever you want to get up. I don't care. I don't think you should get up earlier. You can get up whenever you want to get up. But I have a lot of people say, man, I want to get up at 5 a.m. I want to get up at 4 a.m. Man, I just can't. Hey, listen, I love you. Whoever that, like, to those people, I'm like, I love you. And Henry Ford, I fucking believe you. You can't. So also just stop trying. No, but I really want to get up at 5. Okay, are you willing to get up at 5? Yeah, but I can't. Yeah, stop trying. I really want to get up at 5. Okay, are you committed to getting up at 5? Well, I've tried in the past. Are you willing to quit trying? Listen, if you want to get up at 4 a.m., set the alarm and get up at 4 a.m. And I mean, let it suck. Let it suck. Like, get up and be like, ugh, I don't like doing it. You ain't got to pretend, oh, I'm so happy it's 4 a.m. I don't like doing this. Now, if you had these experiences before in your life, then you already know, so you can lean back on these unconsciously in neurology. But if you haven't built the muscle of resiliency yet, or the skill of resiliency yet, please borrow my faith and belief and experiences. When I say let it suck, let it suck. If it's 4 a.m. and you say you're getting up at 4 a.m., there's no try. There's no doubt. I get up, set 13 alarms, set them in, do what you have to do. Pay someone to come knock on your door. I don't care. If I say I'm getting up at 3 o'clock, I'm getting up at 3 o'clock. That's all there is to it. And I'm responsible for that. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let some funky excuse fall out of my mouth to the world. I'm getting up at 3 o'clock, or I failed and it ain't happening again. And whatever I need to do, whatever it takes, I'm all in. I'm all in. I don't care. I said I was doing this thing. All right, now, borrow my faith, my experiences, my belief if you need to, or just tap into your past experiences. Let's say you decide, all right, I'm getting up at 4 a.m. Boom, tomorrow, 4 a.m., I'm up. All right, I'm doing it. And you're up at 4 a.m., right? When you wake up, boop, 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 and you're like, all right, I'm doing this. Oh, this friggin' sucks. Don't bullshit yourself. Like, let it suck, right? Borrow my faith, borrow my experiences, borrow my belief. Understand that in the very, like, it's like it happens in like days. For me, it does. In days. I don't mean in like months or years. In like days, that alarm's going to go off. Your eyes are going to open up. You're going to get out of your bed and turn it off. And you're going to be like, I'm fucking badass. I'm fucking badass, man. This ain't it. I can do even more. I mean, like in days. So when I say borrow my faith, borrow my belief, borrow my experiences, day one, if it's getting up at 4 a.m., day one, you set that alarm, the alarm goes like beep, 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 and you're like, it freaking sucks. I cannot. Greg said that it would be days and I would be empowered by this. Whew, I cannot wait to be empowered by this. I'm going to give it a week. I'm getting every day this week, I'm getting up at 4 a.m. Everyone that's ever had a gym addiction, everyone that's ever had a gym addiction, and I'm saying that semi-loosely. By the way, I'm speaking about myself. I've had a gym addiction in my past, and I mean literally, and you know, it's one of the healthier addictions I could have had, but it was an addiction, okay? And most bodybuilders have this addiction, male or female. I'm going to suggest most like high-level athletes, if you will. I said bodybuilding because that's the world I was in. That's the only sport, if we call it that, that I ever played. But nonetheless, right, they understand like there is a point in time where like you, not only do you like your endorphins, like you're getting dopamine from working out. I mean, very literally, like those that know, and those that are like, huh? I mean, like, if you've never seen Pump and Iron, it's a movie. It was filmed in, I think it released in 1975, I think it filmed in 71. I could be off by a little bit there. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lou Ferrigno, all the names of that time for bodybuilding. And there's a scene in there, by the way, if you like the gym or muscles, things like that, weightlifting, and you haven't seen this movie, like it is a rite of passage. You have to see this movie. But there's a scene in there where Arnold Schwarzenegger, who goes on to become governor of California and so many other things, movie star and so forth, in 71 when they're filming this and they asked him like, why do you like to work out? Why do you like to go to the gym? You know, a question similar to that. And he said, whatever his words were, he said, it's like the pump. And he said, the pump that you get when you're in the gym, and those that know, like the pump that you get, like when it feels like your skin is about to fucking rip open and like your muscles are about to literally like protrude through your skin. Like, I mean, those that know, those that don't know, this is a very real thing, okay? Like to the point where like many a times where I'm like, I cannot get my hand to my face because there's so much blood in the arm or the shoulder or whatever it is, like a different area. And like so much blood, like there's been plenty of times where like, I mean, like brushing my teeth the next day, like, I mean, like taking this hand, picking this hand up and like pinning it against the wall. And those that know. Leg day's even worse, right? I don't train in that manner, like not that much of a gorging pump anymore, but still, Arnold is explaining, he says the pump, and he said every time, he said, when I pump up, it's like I'm coming. This is literally what he says in Pump and Iron. Pretty funny scene. Listen, if anyone's thinking like it's not literally, look, what I wanted you to understand is like you get these hits of dopamine when you're going to the gym and doing this thing that's so hard that is literally equivalent to like the greatest feeling of ecstasy that we're aware of. Because quite literally, the people that are saying that have experienced both of these ecstasies. And they're literally making that comparison, okay? You might be thinking right now, Greg, I don't give a shit about the gym. I'm not going to Pump Iron. Yeah, but listen, it's the same for everything else in your life. It's the same for getting up at 4 a.m. There will be a time when you realize I can do even more, and you might even be getting up earlier than 4 a.m. Earlier than 4 a.m.? Isn't that a bit much? Well, listen, on my perfect day, and this doesn't happen every day, this maybe happens half of the time, but the days that this happens, I'm the happiest. My perfect schedule is going to bed at 7 p.m., asleep, and waking up at 3 a.m. It's 8 hours of sleep. My sleep is very important to me. I don't like to get up at, I've literally I've gotten up at 2 a.m. before, and I'm like, that's not it. 2 a.m. feels like the day before it's for me. But 3 a.m. for me feels like morning time, and that's my preferred time to wake up. That is not when I get to wake up every day. Some days I'm going to bed as late as at 11 o'clock at night. And so those are 5 a.m. days. But when I can get up at 3 a.m., by 9 o'clock in the morning, I have put the day in 3 headlocks in the last 6 hours. And most people have not finished their coffee yet. The feeling of empowerment that I have every meeting that I sit in on. And people are, and like, look, I love everyone, right? We're all allowed to be exactly where we are. But I go to these meetings and people are 5 minutes late for their meeting, 10 minutes late for their meeting. It's always like, oh, the kids and the this and the that, and I'm struggling with this thing, and nobody has any money and all the things that are going on. And I'm sitting there like, I'll hold space for you. I don't know what that is. I did once upon a time in my life. I don't know what all that is. I choose not to live that way. I don't want to live that way. Resiliency is built by governing self to do things that you don't want to do, and then stay in the fight beyond where a prudent person would consider it to be logical for you to quit. So if you decide I'm getting up at 4 a.m. every day, day one, you get to bed at midnight and you're like, oh man, it's only 4 hours of sleep. I committed. I'm doing it. And you get up and there's only 4 hours of sleep and you rock the next day and you don't get to bed till 11 o'clock and you're like, ugh, I can't do this. No, I'm doing this. I said I'm doing it. And you get up at 4 a.m. And then the end of that day, you get to bed at midnight again. And you're like, ugh, we're back to 4 hours. We're starting to get in striking zone where a prudent person would say it's not logical to move forward. Stop making yourself get up at 4 a.m. You're allowed to make that decision. I don't care. Get up whenever the hell you want. But what I'm telling you, if you want to be resilient, govern yourselves to do hard things that you don't want to do, much past when a prudent person would be considering it logical for you to quit. On day 3, if you ran 4 hours a night of sleep, by the way, sleep is very important to me. Sleep is, I don't play around with that. I know a lot of entrepreneurs, I sleep 4 hours a night. Hey, listen, good for you. You are destroying your body. Have fun with it. Sleep is very important for me in my mind and my emotions and everything else. I love my sleep. If I could sleep 10 hours a night every night, I'd sleep 10 hours a night every night. Love my sleep, okay? Listen, if you rocked only 4 hours of sleep 3 nights in a row, I would agree as a prudent person it's logical to bail on this. And while I agree as a prudent person it's logical to bail on this, I'd also tell you if you want to be resilient, keep going. Do 4 nights at 4 hours. Do 5. Do 6. Yeah, but I'm risking it all. Decide to not be committed to this thing that you're risking it all for, or realize that there's no other place in the world to be than risking it all for this thing because you chose to. Let's go. I know you guys are feeling that, feeling motivated. And I know someone came to mind that you want to share this with. Do me a favor, tag them, share this episode with them. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. Check out my YouTube channel. It is Success After Trauma. That's the name of the channel, Success After Trauma. And make sure if you like what you're hearing on the Power and the Pain podcast, make sure you are following the Spread the Positive platform. That's where we host our podcast. That's where we record our podcast. And they have a number of other podcasts with empowering information just like mine. I'll see you guys next week.
If this hit you deep, trust that.
Your pain has power, and your story isn't over.
Follow, share, and send this to someone who you think might benefit.
I'm Greg, and this was The Power and the Pain. Keep stepping into your power.